Yo, what is up? What is happening? It is Mikey Show Live. Welcome, everybody, to the Mikey Hi-Fi Show, where I give it to you straight from 26 years in the industry. I am a dealer. That's what I do. I curate audio systems for people, and I am adept at it. Nobody does it better. I don't just sell you some expensive shit and expect you to think it's going to sound good because it was expensive. So let's get that out of the way. So good to see everybody. Let's see. I need to pull something over here because I'm going to share it with you all. One of my viewers sent this to me earlier. I am going to go look at this. Okay, where is it? That's not it. Looks like they might have sold. Let's see. No, that's it. Okay, I'm looking right now. That's why I've got you waiting here. Oh yeah, no, that's the one. That is the one. I will bring you into that, and let me see if the price changed. Because there was something. Oh yeah, it's gone up. What a douche. So this is probably fake. This is what happens. They put it out for a low ass price, and then when nobody responds, they immediately jack it up because they get cocky. Because they're afraid at how shitty the value is on it. But I'll bring it up and show it to you. So let me go through everybody's stuff. Masher says hello, Masher. Rob Mata, who called this meeting of the He-Man Woman Haters Club. Not sure what the hell you're talking about. Gorgeous day in Cal today, Mikey. Hope the weather is this nice when you come here. Greetings, tribe. What's up, Bob? So yeah, for anybody aware, Bob will be one of the newest tribe members and potential locations. He's going to be up near Sacramento, and Bob has entrusted me to put a whole complete audio system in his room, take care of the room treatment, take care of the room setup and everything. And so once you get to a certain level, I take care of it. And Bob will get one of our first complete systems in a crate. The whole system will come in one crate, everything. And then Bob will get it placed where it's going to go with his guys, whatever mover guys are going to move the stuff, and or him and his buddy. And then I will come in and do the tune and make sure that it is banging on all cylinders. It's complete Fisher & Fisher, Nat Audio, tube monoblocks, and Playback Design's Dream front end. So it is going to be an amazing rig, man. You're going to be blown away. He says, hey, Mock, what's up? Masher, I think that was. Harsha, what's up, Harsha? How are you, buddy? Bullseye Mikey, you know what Harsha's talking about. See what Harsha, if I can show this. I'll have to do a little research and find out how to share videos from my phone onto this. Let's see if we can hear it. I'll put the microphone over here and I'll turn this up. Oh, no, it's going to be, the audio will feed in. The video just won't. Here's Mikey. You know what that is? That's called full auto. It's a machine gun right there. You want to see it again? Here's what we did for fun on the weekend. That's how you play with guns.
All right.
Yeah, baby. Fun shit. I don't know who else likes that. But I didn't end up to come home with a new toy. I'd bring it out and show you guys now, but I'd probably get wouldn't be able to. Yeah, there it is, a sub. And not only that, made in Switzerland, highest level build. It folds up. It's an E&E piece that folds up. It's meant for going under the seat. So it's pretty sick. Gotta love those things, man. And can coming shortly. It's just a killer piece. Hey Masher, says Bob. Marvin Haywood. Dave Pimp Dog, what's up? Dave knows what's up with those boulders. Did you see they went up, buddy? The Boulder 3050s went from 90 grand when Dave sent me. All of a sudden they went up 50 grand. So this guy's full of shit. Whoever's selling them is just full of shit. The bottom line is they're not worth shit. And we'll okay, so I'm just gonna break to it right now. Let me see here. I'm going to break to it right now. I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to share the screen with this right here. And I'm going to share it right here. So you can see, here's on audio gone. Okay. And what is this guy all time? He's got 129. So maybe who knows who the hell he is. I don't even know if he's a dealer or what, but here's a pair. Dave sent me a picture of these things the other day. And it's right here. I'm not sure if you can see this. I'll make it bigger. Whoops. Like this. Can you see the number on there? $90,000. The same amp was $90,000. Well, he realized nobody wanted that shit for 90 grand. They're $300 and $5,000 amplifiers. They're not worth shit. They're boat anchors. They're Boulder boat anchors. Not worth shit. Okay, what a joke. Okay, this is what you get when you buy Boulder. You get a freaking boat anchor around your neck that is highly illiquid. Nobody wants. It doesn't even sell for 90. So you get so freaked out, you bump it up to 140, thinking that you marked it too low. So you start freaking out. That's the kind of shit that happens when you buy that heavy iron bullshit. It's not worth crap. It is not worth crap. See if you can find a Playback Designs amp. See if you can find a Playback Designs MPD8. I know you can find some 6s potentially, but no 8s. You won't find the Playback Designs. And even the 6s and stuff that you find. I saw a Merlot. Okay, this thing's discontinued, the Playback Designs Merlot. It was $6,000 when it was new, okay, like 6 years ago. They sell used for $4,500. I think he had it $4,900. He just moved it down to $4,500. And it's like, whatever, 8 years old, 6 years old, something like that. Oh, by the way, Stella Artois, 0.00 alcohol. Pretty good stuff. I am going to remove that and get rid of this thing. So yeah, that's crazy. That's the kind of shit. People send me stuff every day, different things, different pictures, different. Oh man. I get pictures of people's rooms. I'm not going to say who shared this, but people send me pics of rooms that they're in, and I think this wasn't a room this guy was in, but it came off the internet. He saw it like on, like the Wilson Audio Forum or something like that, and you got to see this. It's unbelievable. Okay, look at this. It says, thank you, Daryl Wilson. And but look how small that room is. And look at, let me see if I can get, damn it. And there you go. Look at that. Look how small the room is. And look at how big those speakers are. That dude in that room has been oversold so hardcore. Those speakers are so too big for that room. It's not even funny. But some asshole dealer shoehorned him into those things with a big ass Griffin amp, which is probably going to be like these Boulders, not worth shit when you try and sell it. A couple Griffin pieces, and who knows what the front end is, CH Precision or some other overpriced BS shit. Oh no, that looks like an MSB, which I like the brand a lot. I don't necessarily like the Sonic, but I like the brand. And then that's Audio Research, I think, a CD player looks like on the bottom. And look at the big ass transparent cables. Of course, they're telling him you need the cables to make it work. So he puts $35,000 freaking speaker cables. Poor guy. Okay. All I'm just saying is it's nothing against this guy, but nobody took care of this guy properly. Nobody took it. What he got was he got jam packed with as much shit as they could jam down his throat before he choked. They hit him until he squealed. They took every bit of money until he just couldn't. They couldn't shake any more out of his ass. They maxed him out as much as he was willing to spend, because that is an oversold system for that room. There's no way those speakers are for a much bigger room. Just ridiculous stuff. I get this stuff all day long, and you guys wonder, why is Mikey so grumpy all the time? Why does he have such resentment for the industry? That's why I have resentment for the industry. It's shit like that, man. It's shit like that. People just getting oversold things that are way too big and way too Austin. It's just too big. I mean, it doesn't even matter about the image of it. It's just like that speaker is too freaking giant for that room. And people send me over and over all day long different things. So by the end of the day, I'm exhausted. I'm just like, I just see so much. They send me all the shit, right? All the crap that they can't believe in the industry. So I get an onslaught of retarded shit. Retarded shit. This guy's doing this. This dealer just started doing this. This happened to me. This happened to my friend. I get all the stories. And it's crazy. Master says, hi, Bob. Good evening, Mikey. Good evening, Johnson. J-Rob. He was, we were talking on a little bit earlier about, what was it again? We were talking about tweaks. Was that what we were talking about? I think we were. I can't remember exactly what we were talking about, but we were. Shane, what's up, man? Welcome. Geelong audiophile in Geelong, Australia. Tommy Clark. Hey, all this time change. What the F? I know it snuck up on me too, man. In fact, I haven't even changed my watch. That's how quick it snuck up on me. I need to change the watch. Make sure I need to change the watch. Yep, there we go. What is it? It is 9:14. So put it right one before. Okay, cool. Yeah, so snuck up on my ass too, man. I was like, whoa, wow, how'd it get so late so quick? So that was pretty crazy. Matika, what's up, man? How are you? Dan DeBaca, how are you, buddy? Hang loose, brother. Rob, opinions on Legacy Audio. I don't know, man. Rob, I don't know Legacy. Okay, I've had this conversation many times. Harsha loves, if Harsha is still watching. Harsha has some, what are they called? Focus. Which seems like a lot of speaker for $12,000. That's nothing. A $12,000 pair of speakers is cheap speakers, and they've got a lot of drivers. Typically, a cheap speaker with a lot of drivers turns me off. But another one of our tribe members, Steve DeHardy, said they sound pretty good. So someday I'll get up there and listen, but I have yet to go to see how I judge these brands is when I go to the shows, if I'm not exhibiting, and that's most of the time now. I exhibit at a couple shows a year. What you're hearing, if you're wondering what that noise is, you're hearing my damn, texts come in. People are texting. And it's Don. And so what he's got. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. There you go. Yep. Of course it is glorious. Okay. So here Don's sending me pictures. See, this is what happens every day. People send me pictures. Now, Don had those SN70s in his kitchen. And now he put them, he's looking to find a home for him, and he put him in his buddy's house, put him on Andy's house on an Eversolo A10 and MyTech amp via blue cables. Absolutely glorious, he says. Tell him hi. Hello. Okay, so he's sending pictures of, the SN70s kicking ass. Now, he has no idea that I'm doing the stream right now. This is the kind of things that come in, each day. People always sending me different things. And so Andy's going to be happy. Andy will probably buy them from him. He'll be very happy. So Legacy. So how I find out about these speakers is I go at every show when I'm not exhibiting. I go into every room and I listen. And especially when I was trying to learn this industry, I mean, when I was like a beginner, I needed to know what these brands were all about. I needed to make judgment on the brands, right? Because I'm like, I need to know which ones I'm going to carry. I need to know which ones I like, which ones I don't. I mean, mainly at first it was, what do I want to buy? What would I own out of all these? What do I aspire for? You know, and I never got and I went into Bill Duddleston's room every single time. You know why? Because the dude has a full page ad in Stereophile. So every single issue, every single year for probably the last 20 years, the guy's had a full page ad. And you just always see the multiple drivers, yellow drivers. They look impressive because they're just yellow Kevlar drivers, and they're all 50 million of them on the thing, whole overabundance of drivers, many drivers. And anybody that doesn't know shit about speakers, your first thing is you think the more drivers, the better, which is not true. Okay. But if you don't know shit, you equivocate more drivers with better value. So if you see a lot of drivers at a low price, you go, oh, fucking A, I can get a lot of drivers for low money. And that's beginner thought. Like I had the same thought. After you listen and you figure things out after a while, you realize it's much better to buy a single driver world-class speaker than it is to buy a cheap speaker with a whole bunch of drivers, I'm not saying that's the case with Harsha's focuses or whatever, but I have never got Legacy audio. I go into every single show, every single room with Legacy, and I scratch my head every time. It never, ever once made me want the brand. And Wilson, I mean, Legacy's not the only one. Wilson, I never wanted. Magico, I never wanted. Estalon, I never wanted. YG Acoustics, I never wanted. I mean, but Legacy, I just never got. I felt their marketing was more than what they delivered in the rooms. When I went to at least the rooms with the Wilsons and Magico, it wasn't my type of listening, but I got why I could tell why they're expensive. They're overwhelming. It's not my type of sound. But Wilson, I never got them. So might grab a little pair of the Studio HDs for super cheap. Anything that's super cheap is good, man. Super cheap is super cheap. You can't argue with super cheap. So again, so Legacy, I just don't get. I never got it. It never turned me on. So my general feeling is thumbs down on Legacy. I never wanted it. Now, that doesn't mean I can't have my mind turned around. Both Harsha and Steve DeHardy seem to think Harsha speakers are really great. So I'll have to go when I'm in Nashville. I'm not going to make a fucking trip up there to hear Legacy speakers. But I will, if I'm up there, doing something else or selling a rig or whatever, I'll come by Harsha's place and I'll take a listen. Steve DeHardy is also super high on Benchmark amps, and I think Benchmark is thumbs down. I don't like Benchmark shit. But Steve like freaks out on his amp. He thinks it's the best thing ever designed. Now understand, Steve is a designer. He's an electrical engineer. He's not a designer per se of electronics. He did make his own speakers that I think he did very well with. However, Steve just doesn't. Here's my feeling. Steve, if you were a millionaire, dude, you wouldn't have a fucking Benchmark amp. Okay, maybe you are a millionaire. If you were 100 millionaire, okay. I don't think you'd have a Benchmark amp. I think you'd have something else. You remember we put the playback designs in and you ordered it on the spot. You said, I need one. You ordered it on the spot. Later on, you got a little breath of reality like, oh shit, I probably shouldn't do that right now until I get my business off the ground. And then I can come back and do this thing. But your first reaction was, I need a Playback Designs MPD-8 in my rig. So we can improve stuff. So anyways, so I got a little derailed. I will, my opinion so far, it's out. I don't really, it's never turned me on. Again, I'm open-minded. Please turn me on. Make me think Legacy is the shit. Make a room at the show, Bill Duddleston. If you're all that, Make a fucking room that sounds wicked, that I sit down and go, holy shit, my whole idea of legacy has changed now, but I blow it off. I blow off legacy audio. And there's a lot of brands that I blow off just because, like PS Audio, and I'm not saying that it's not good. It's just something that I just blow off because I never wanted it. I never felt like, oh, I got that. That makes me want it. Griffin is something that I sometimes make fun of just because. But I've always wanted Griffin. Okay. Even before I heard it, I wanted it just from looking at it because of the way it looks. It just looks so badass and cool. So it could be that, PS Audio's got soft, rounded corners. It's a little too not my vibe or something. Maybe I like dark and foreboding, bully, Darth Vader looking shit. And so maybe those are my tastes, could be a personal taste thing. But at some point, you've got to draw the line between things that you like and things that you don't. And it may boil down to personal taste at some point. I mean, when you go to these shows, if you go to these audio shows, you'll realize almost every single room sounds good. You're going to go in, you're going to be like, yep, this sounds good. This sounds good. This sounds good. It all sounds good at the high end, right? From audiophiles. But to find something that sounds freaking great, okay, I should say there's probably different. There's good, there's great, and then there's holy shit magic, okay? At any given audio show, there's probably 2 rooms that are holy shit magic, right? And then there's probably 10 rooms that are great. And then there's everything else is good. If you come, here's another announcement. Okay, making an announcement. Everybody listen up. I will be headed to Texas in 2 weeks for the Southwest Audio Show. I will be available to do room tuning and room assessment. Sometimes people want me to come by, put my ears on their rig, and let them know in no uncertain terms what I feel. Now, I'm not going to be rude, but I'll just tell you, here's how I think it can be improved. Here's where I think your bottleneck is. Here's what it's not doing. And I can actually do things like tune the speakers and place the speakers and offer you some suggestions to get some more out of your audio system. I charge $500 for that. And I am available when I come down to Texas. So let me know if you'd like me to come by your place. And I can do that. Otherwise, call me on my cell phone, which you'll see right here. Okay. Right here. Call this number. Okay. It's a Google number. I don't live in Bolinas in the Bay Area, but I picked that number because if you know what Bolinas is, it's a pretty cool hip area. At least it used to be hip. 415-484-5121. That you can reach me at any time on that number. You can call into this show right now if you want to and be patched in and we can talk. Or you can call me at any audio show and I will be there and you can say, Mikey, where are you? Okay. Or if you see me in the hall, stop me. Even if I'm talking, I will have an entourage with me. I'll have my posse and we always hang together. Be part of it. If you wish to hang out with us, we're happy to have you. We have a lot of fun at the shows. So that is opinions on legacy and the announcement about the hi-fi show in Dallas on the 23rd. Well, is that 2 weeks? I thought it was 2 weeks, man. Oh, I'm at the 9th. No wonder. Looking at my watch. My watch is a few days behind. So yeah. So when is it? Let's see. It's the 9th. So it is the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Yeah. So the weekend of the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. That should be a lot of fun. It's a killer venue, man. It is way cooler venue than the one in Florida for sure. 100 times better. And bigger, and the food is good, and it's world-class level food actually. In the if you go up the tower there, they've got a 4-star restaurant. So it is killer. Good evening, Steve Ness. How are you? What streamer only recommendations? Well, I use the Playback Designs, so that's the one I like. If you want to use something that's like $4,500 or something like that, I would use the Nagra or the M Labs. They're both about similar kind of pieces, and I like both of those, and they're $4,500. Right on, Bob. Yeah, man. Bob is doing it, and I will be on the West Coast shortly. Sup, Sonny? How are you, buddy? Love my legacies. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, Harsha. Of course you do. You think they're the best thing that's ever been made. um, nice, Bob. Yes, that's right. Bob's system is going to be next level. It totally will, Eric. You have no idea. He is going to be blown away once this thing's put in. It is it surprises everybody. I mean, I still have Jared Golden in Chicago. I mean, I put his system in right before Christmas, and just 2 days ago, he sent me a picture of the side of the 670. Like, God, I just can't get over how gorgeous the slate is. And I'm like, I know, dude, it's beautiful, really is. Jay's content this week has gotten to me. So, what do you think about Von Schweikert speakers? I don't really know, man. I don't know. I mean, I think they're decent. They're pretty good. I heard one pair, I can't remember what they're called, 55s or something like that. They have rear firing tweeters. They're active bass modules. I think they can be cool, I've never wanted them. That's another brand. Okay, so let me give you a distinction. So Von Schweikert is a brand where I've thought this is good sound in here, but I don't want it. Almost like, Rockport is probably the closest brand of something that I would want, that is something that is about as close as I could get to wanting something, would probably be Rockport. But yeah, so Von Schweikert's good stuff. Nothing wrong with Von Schweikert, but you know how, most YouTubers are going to be bringing different things in that they are getting paid. And I'm not saying Jay is, but you look at like Steve Huff, for instance, everything is freaking great, everything's the best. And it's because they're sponsored. They get free product, or they get paid to say that shit. So of course, anybody on YouTube is going to be talking great about what they've got. You just have to look at who's the most consistent. Who says that this shit is great over the last 3 years? Who has said Jeff Rowland is freaking awesome for the last 6 years? Who said Playback Designs is the best for over the last 4 years? I don't change my brands because I'm not just moving through things that I need to sell. I've got a ton of stuff here that I need to sell. I could put the Egglestons out and make a whole week of videos saying how great the Egglestons are because I want to sell them, right? I could do that with the Japanese DACs that I have that are high level, that I haven't even put my used stuff up, man. I've got a lot of great stuff that was my own personal collection. You guys know, eventually I'll put them up, but if you guys want deals, you need to call and get on it before. But Von Schweikert's not bad. I mean, I can't say I let's just say I like Von Schweikert better than I like Wilson or Magico. So that's good. But I don't know which one. And I've heard some of the big things. And Von Schweikert, I think, Dave, didn't we see Von Schweikert had subwoofers hidden behind? Von Schweikert has had, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Von Schweikert, that it was always showed with VAC. Didn't those two always show together? And then I think we moved a curtain, and there were subwoofers behind the curtain that you couldn't, that weren't part of the main speakers. So the main speakers were sounding probably better than they would on their own. Now, I think their statement was, when we busted them or whatever, well, we use that for room correction, right? They use it to cancel something or whatever. But so I don't know. I think their smaller speakers are better than their big, huge ones, is what I'm trying to say. Mikey on full auto tonight. That's a first. Yeah, you know it, buddy. That thing was sweet, dude. I wanted it immediately. I'm just like, oh God, why did I come do this, man? Now I got to buy an expensive piece of Swiss artillery. You know how it is, like a Swiss watch, man. It's Swiss guns are the same, man. Made in Switzerland, you're going to get the high level shit. They're just, the machining's better. They do cooler. They're just badass. Hey, Tribe. Hey, Mikey. Great video on balanced and unbalanced circuits. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. Um, that was that happens when people call, and somebody wanted me to explain. He was asking me about the balance of things. He's asking me about balance. He's like, well, I don't get how it between the right and the left. And I'm like, oh wow, he totally thinks the word balanced means balance between left and right channels. And I'm like, I wonder how many people think that. So I'm like, maybe I'll just do a very basic tutorial. And I know how to break shit down into real layman's terms and not say the things that are going to get you confused, and just give you the basics so that you understand the principles of it. So hopefully I do a good job at that for you guys. Horrible amplifiers sound very bright, etched, not musical. That oh yeah, you're talking about the boulders. Yeah. Yeah, there's zero resale on them. They used to be, a cool thing because they're so big, and just that heavy iron stuff is turning into stupid. It's just turning into stupid stuff. It's old school. That's like an old idea to buy a big heavy thing like that. Unless it's playback designs, unless you really have um you know there I just think Boulder is a fad. um there are certain instances where you put big amps with big speakers, like in Dave's system, where it's the freaking shit. Like Dave Olson that's on here. My God, man. I mean, if you guys ever heard his system, that's one of a kind in the United States. That's for sure. Him. And then we've got another guy in Pasadena that has the SPA 8, and that's heavy iron. Okay. It is heavy iron, but it's not retarded price like that. I mean, I'll bet it sounds better. And it was 80 grand brand new. Not 305. So stupid. The price. It's just so ridiculous. I can't. And they're not musical. Exactly. Good evening, Mikey. Going to Southwest Audio Fest in Dallas, around 4 hours drive. See you there. I'm going to be there on Saturday. Cool. Tommy, just give a holler on my cell phone, man. You saw I put up that number. Mal Capone, what's up, man? This is our tribe. This is my personal helicopter pilot. I wish. Malcolm is awesome, man. This dude is a pro helicopter pilot. This guy knows how to do some shit, man. He's too young for being a Vietnam guy and flying Hueys, but this guy flies top level billionaires between Manhattan and Connecticut or the Hamptons or wherever in these executive helicopters that are freaking gorgeous. I flew across the country in one, and I hope I get to do that again, Malcolm. That was the shit. I mean, even if we going from New York to Connecticut or Florida up, you got to let me know, man, because I got helicopters in my blood after 4 days of that stuff. Now I like moving in 3 dimensions, man. There's something about moving up and over and just the way those things move and the way they hover and bank and stuff. It's just, there's nothing like it. I really, really suggest, if you've never gone up in a helicopter, to try it, because it is a blast. Funny that junk sells for so much. Funnier that people buy it. Yeah. I think more realistically, the stuff just gets hoarded around on the used market at fraction pennies on the dollar. This guy couldn't sell it at 90. He had it up there at 90 and they wouldn't even sell at 90. He got too embarrassed. So he threw 50 grand onto him so he wouldn't be embarrassed. There's, if he had it up for too long, it just shows you he's willing to sell at 90. He's willing to come 50 grand off his price, right? He's willing to come 50 grand off his price. He showed his cards. He got embarrassed. He marked it up. Now somebody can come and offer him 50 grand less and he'll go for it. So that's how this crap works. And then if you really wanted to be the used sales guy and you maybe, and you thought you were crafty, you could call this guy up and offer him, if he was doing 90, you could say, look, I'll fly up there, or I'll come up with my big truck or whatever, and I'll pick these things up and I'll give you 75 cash, on the spot. The guy might go for it. And then you get him for 75 and then you put him up for 90, and then, make 15K or whatever. That's how this stuff's handled. It just goes, it's like a stepchild that nobody wants. It keeps going to foster homes, and then people keep turning it. It never stays anywhere. And if you look at the history of these things, they just get handed place to place to place, and then somebody that wants to show off, I'll guarantee he'll go buy these things for 90 grand, and then he'll want to tell everybody, all his friends, I've got $300,000 amplifiers. It's a poser is what it is. It's somebody posing, somebody that can't really afford it. He's getting in at a low price just to show off. um it's like the guy with the Ferrari with high mileage on it, or whatever. There's a whole group of people that hawks that like sit and try and underbid on this stuff, and it's a whole area of the market I want nothing to do with. How can I get better depth and layering on my soundstage with Maggie's? A better DAC. I never see Boulder at the shows, at least ones that are not just static displays. I know they never play at the shows. They're never being featured at any show that I've ever seen. And the guy used to get these top floors in the Venetian when we were all in the Venetian, and they would just be static. Just you could walk around the amps. They'd be on these pillar things, but never playing any music. They were selling just based on their bigness, and whatever. It's just silly. That DAC looks like a DCS. Yeah, it did. Oh, Vivaldi probably. Bro, what happened to your beautiful curly hair? It's right there, buddy. See it? Beautiful. Dano, killer video on balance and unbalanced. Thanks, man. I'm glad you liked it. I can do more of that things. Those are things that I just take for granted that I know, and I just assume that everybody knows it. And then I realize, holy shit, some people really, really don't know what it means. Let me just do a real basic video. I could do that almost every day. Somebody asks me a question, and then in my mind I go, oh shit, I should make a video on that. And unless I write it down or make the video right after, I completely forget it. An hour goes by and I've completely forgot what I was going to make the video on. But there's just so much. I have endless things like that I could talk about and make videos. So I'll try and add more of those in. What do I think of open baffle? They can sound really good, man. And they should never be expensive. So my feeling about open baffles is there is no cabinet. So it's to make a slab and cut a hole in it. Okay. Which is basically what most open baffles, some of them have wings to make, to make basically is a way to make a wider baffle in a smaller space. It's no big deal. It doesn't cost a lot to cut a slab of wood, cut a slab of whatever, and make a hole in it. Okay, so I think open baffle speakers are totally cool, but they should not be as much as box speakers. They should be less. Okay, they're not though in many ways, and it was silly because open baffles kind of came along as a DIY thing. And they came along as a DIY thing. And at first, I don't know if you guys remember this, but when open baffles started to show up, they were a lot less. They were appropriately priced. Then all of a sudden, people started to think, say how good they sounded. And then the price went up and now they're the same price as a box speaker. And there's nowhere near the amount of pain in the ass and work that goes into open baffle than a closed box, a sealed box. Much harder to make, much harder to brace, much harder to keep from leaking, from cracking, from splitting. It's just like way harder than an open baffle. So open baffles can sound very good. Typically they're higher efficiency, so they work well with tube stuff. Open baffles must be closer to the front wall. So they're not the type of speakers that you can put out in the middle of a big room and have them have any sort of bass. They will not have bass unless you push them up against the front wall. Then you can get some bass out of them, or stuff them in corners or something like that. You can get some good bass out of. And I don't mean put them way back in the corners, but corner load them. You know what I mean? Open baffles can be great, and you can see everything right there. You can put better wiring. You can mess with the crossovers many times. Like Pure Audio Project did this cool thing where their crossovers for their open baffles had screw lugs. So you could just take a screwdriver and pull the components off the crossover and upgrade components and mess with components and change values or change brands. And you could roll capacitors, which, was fun. I took mine to a very high level. And it was a lot of fun. So, open baffles are kind of fun because you can play with them too, and change them and mod them. Yeah, I'll probably go to Expona, even though it's the one that I least like. Um, I'll go because there's people up there. I got a lot of tribe up there in Chicago, so I'll go. See you at Southwest. Yeah, buddy. I will be going to Southwest. If you are a local guy and you need me to tune your rig or you want me to come put my ears on it, just let me know. Give me a holler and I can come by. Hey, Mikey and Tribe, what is your opinion on using the balanced input to the AA DAC versus the USB and coax? Um, Use whatever sounds best to you. You know, there isn't one. I haven't messed with it enough to have a preferred input, right? Like where I'm like, oh, the coax is definitely the best one. That I haven't tried to find that. I trust the design has full integrity. Some brands will cheap out one of the inputs, because they don't like it, so they'll make it cheap or something like that. But I know the integrity of the build of this company, so I know all of their inputs they're going to go to the nines with. So you can try them all. Um, the argument, some people will say balanced input for is going to be better for because it's balanced, right? Other people will say, well, balanced is a cable that uses a microphone cable for your digital transmission. It was never designed for digital music. It was designed as an analog microphone cable, whereas like a BNC, you could argue, well, that was made for digital transfer from the beginning. So that's where people kind of where it shakes out. But use whatever you want, man. I think they're all going to be good. Dave says, speaking of components I've never seen at shows is Ion. They are all over Audiogon, but you never see them live. Yeah. Yeah. True. Right. That is an interesting thing, but they'll probably be at Expona. Some of these companies only go to one show a year, and that's always Expona. If they're only going to go to one, they typically go to that one because it's the biggest, and they kind of have to. Hey, Tribe. Hey, Mikey. What's up, David? Welcome. Rob says Joseph Audio uses metal main drivers. They're exceptional. So is it all metal drivers you dislike? I love a pair of Josephs I have. Joseph is one of the few. Vivid Audio also sometimes uses aluminum drivers, and they sound good. Now, I thought Joseph just used speaker that has metal phase plugs. Do they actually have metal cones in the Joseph Audios? Joseph Audio, very good speaker. It's almost like a little baby copy of a Wilson, but they do sound good. Joseph Audio. When I go to the shows, when I go to the shows and listen, like I say, I go to all the rooms and listen. Every time I go into the Joseph Audio room, it's consistently good sounding. Like Jeff Joseph knows how to make a room sound good. You know, um, so it's not bad. Hey Joey, what's up, buddy? Joey's got the hots for me. What can I say? What's up, Tribers? Cheers to all. Luther, what's up, man? Dave, he likes Tads. They have metal drivers. Tad has magnesium sintered drivers. In other words, if I'm not mistaken, they spray magnesium onto a substrate with Tads. They have beryllium tweeters. But and that's another one, man. You got to get a beryllium tweeter right, because I've heard metal tweeters. I can't stand metal dome tweeters. Tad does it right, but there's very few that do. Clark checking in from Hawaii. Welcome, Clark. Rodeo Goat across the street from Dallas show. Great food for a very fair price. Oh, was that is that the burger joint? I think we might have gone there. It's we've got reservations at a place called the Mexican. Now, you know what? I remember driving by it. It's funny now that when I just said it, I remember us driving by it. We didn't go to it last time. We have reservations at the Mexican, and then we're going to eat at the restaurant in the hotel, which is freaking phenomenal. Like, I'm not shitting you, man. I couldn't believe it. It was world-class steakhouse. Like, I was like, dude, this is phenomenal. I mean, everything was so good. It was on point. And it just like if we searched for a restaurant, that would have been something that we would have found. So it was pleasantly happy. But Rodeo Goat, I think if that's the burger joint, was a pretty good burger. Um, however, burgers aren't typically on my high list of places that I go when I'm traveling. I don't really seek out burgers necessarily, even though I love a good burger. It's just not, I seek out a little, and a burger is common to any place. Sometimes I'll seek out a junk food thing, like similar to a burger that is kind of, I would consider dirty food, right? Like the dirty shit. Like, but I'll do the proper things for the proper area. For instance, a Chicago beef sandwich, right? That's dirty food. Um, and it's on a shit ass bun, whatever. I mean, but it's delicious, It's like it's dirty food, but it's good. So a burger isn't typical to any one place. So Chicago, you might get a Chicago dog as well, or Chicago pizza, right? That's all dirty food. If I'm gonna go to Texas, I would probably look for brisket, and have brisket because that's kind of the Texas thing. Um, Maybe Rodeo Goat does have brisket, but I would love to have like Texas's best brisket. That's what I would have there. Um, I went to one place, man, when I was there last time, and I can't remember the name of it. It was some pretty good barbecue, but it was a chain, and one of those corporate chains where you go in and it's all pretty and you go, this is where they have corporate lunches here and shit like that. And they probably deliver to the businesses nearby and shit like that. Like, I guess that's not an indicator, but like, I like the hole in the wall places, like the hole in the wall. If I'm going to go dirty, I like the hole in the wall places. So anyways, Texas, I'll look for brisket. Hey, Mikey, right now I have Emotiva. How long could I live with that and a pair of Fisher and Fisher 470? Um, I don't know what I don't know. That's a personality trait. So I don't know. I don't know you well enough to answer that. You could live forever like that, you know. Emotiva is decent stuff, you know. Um, Dan's a great guy. The owner, I've known Dan for a very long time. And it's you really good bargain. Um, if anything, you're doing it the proper way. I'd rather see you, uh, 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 if you're going to use emotivas, get Fisher and Fishers, and that'll be the best those emotivas will sound. Let me put it that way. That'll be the best those emotivas will sound is on Fisher and Fisher. It'll crush. The Fisher and Fishers are, again, I can't say how good, how much, I can't, I don't have enough words to tell you about them. But as people buy them, they're buying them like crazy. Like I've already sold everything. I had one of everything. They're all in doubles of the 270s, triples of the 70s. Everything's gone except for I've got a pair of 670s and 770s, and I've got a couple people that I'm talking to about the 670s right now. Then I've got one pair of 770s. Then it's gone until the next shipment. So the 470, I've already got. I'm trying to think if I've got one 470 pre-sold on the next shipment. You'll need to let me know if you want the 470s because I'll need to put them on the next shipment to make sure I have two pairs because one pair is gone. So I'll have to load up with double 470s. So just get in contact with me, but they crush, man. They're ridiculous speakers. I just, I can't say enough about them. Greetings, Mikey and Tribe from Asheville. What is up, man? Is this Frank, the tank? I heard the really big Von Schweikert in the Philippines in a big dedicated, I sold that guy in the Philippines is he's close with politicians. I've sold that dude, Veerstar power cords. I know exactly that dude with the big Von Schweikerts. I sold him Playback Designs. Didn't he have the playback there? Because I sold him that MPD8. If it's the same guy I'm thinking about, he's got huge Von Schweikerts. You weren't impressed with how they imaged. Yeah, I'm sure it takes, they image wide, but it's not necessarily deep in those big rooms. And you really got to know setup, man. They should have had Von Schweikert come and set them up. before I need to absolutely upgrade amps. Well, it depends again on you and like how you may never need to upgrade the amps, you know. All I can say is that if you did, it would get better. But the same could be said for your DAC, you know. Mikey, what are your favorite alcohol-free beers? It's not this one. I'm drinking it right now, and it's a little sweet and a little slimy. It's like the Heineken. It's like a little sweet and a little slimy. I kind of don't like it. I like dry. I like dry with my beer. I like something a little crisp. So I kind of like pills, you know. So as I tried another one that I really liked that was called Chof, Chou. It was a Belgian beer. I do not like ales. So anything bitter, I do not like ales. So none of the ales. I only like the Pilsner or the lager or a Pilsner or a lager typically or a Weizen, you know, a Weissbier. But so there is not that many that I like. The Choufe, I think, or something like that was good. They're hella expensive though, $14.99 for a 4-pack or something like that. But they were really tasty. And then this is gonna sound retarded, but like the canned ones, like Bush in a can. This is funny, man, because it's shit beer, but it tastes the closest to regular shit ass beer, right? It's like I guess this kind of tastes like beer too. It's hard for me to tell, but it's just slimy. I like something a little more crisp. I haven't had the Bush in a long freaking time because I've been going through these bottles. But what's the other one I like? Not the Stella, but there's one, I think it's Steinlager or Klosthaler or something like that. It's a German one. I'll tell you when I get it. I'll tell you when I get it. But this one doesn't. I'll tell you the ones that I don't necessarily like. I don't like Anchor. I think Anchor has a couple. I don't like any of the ales. I don't Heineken, I really was high on. You know, I think Heineken would probably be better for me in a can. I think when they're in a bottle like this and they don't have alcohol, they get kind of slimy. And when I mean slimy, I mean they're just like slick on your tongue and just kind of like they don't finish with a dry, crisp finish. They're kind of like they're just like they linger a little bit, lays on your tongue a little heavy. Yeah, so hope that helps. Bolinas is still out there. They take down the road signs and there's no numbers on the houses. That's right, brother. What a pain to find the house when I was repairing appliances. I'll bet, man. They're a bunch of wild hippies down there, dude. Did anybody hear about how the Pope had to be sedated because he said there was a portal to hell opening at the end of his bed and demons ready to take him away? Wow, freaky stuff. That's pretty wild. No, I didn't hear about that, but that's probably his fears. He's probably you know, he's facing his greatest fear, you know, which is maybe going to hell or something like that. Um maybe he ate some babies, you know, or something like that. You know, it's an interesting conversation to have the conversation about the Pope and then evil, right? And then the whole thing about the Pope being like this bastion of Christianity and you know, Jesus and all that. But then at the same time, you look at the Grand Hall of, have you seen the design? Have you seen that? I don't know if you guys have not seen this. I think it's called the Grand Meeting Hall or the Grand Celebration. Let me look. I'm going to show you something that's going to blow your mind. At the Vatican. This is going to blow your mind, man. Let's see. Okay, yeah. you guys are going to dig this. Okay. So, this is a picture of the ceilings. There's skylights and there's the stage and the altar, you know, all the things. Wait till you see this shit. Okay, this is going to blow your mind. So you might know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm going to share the screen right now. Okay. So, no, let me open this. Let me see. Let me open this first. Okay, there we go. Oops. Where is it? Right here. Okay. Look at that, dude. This is in the Vatican. Okay, if that isn't a serpent, I don't know what is. Just look at the Grand Celebration Hall. I'll find out the name of this thing. But if you just Google Grand Hall Vatican and then you click on images, you will see this thing. And this is very reptilian, right? It could be, maybe the axis of evil is the Vatican. You never know. It just makes you wonder. Like it's probably not, but this is weird. Whoever designed this knew the shit was going to do this, right? When it lit up and during the day, during the daylight or whatever. This is planned design. They knew it was going to look like a serpent, and you're doing this shit at the Vatican and you're making some shit that looks like a serpent, and what was the serpent? The serpent was like in the Garden of Eden, right? The evil, wasn't that the devil, so it's weird shit. So I will remove that. Yeah, so that is weird, wild, wacky, wild stuff. So maybe the Pope was sitting there and like he's freaking out. Maybe, who knows? Maybe the demons want the Pope's soul, because who knows? It's a crazy question, but or a crazy discussion. But the other thing I was seeing on YouTube today was the shit about eating babies and all this stuff. And like, the whole child thing. I so don't understand that. And I'm not going to go launch into a description into a discussion about it, but I just don't. I'll probably ask Chat GPT, like, what the hell is this? Why would people want to kill babies? What for? Supposedly it's to scare the shit out of them so that adrenaline releases into their blood, and then take their blood and then either drink it or shoot it, and then what? Jizz in your pants. I mean, like, what do you do when you shoot adrenaline? Can't you just get adrenaline? Isn't that same shit that they put in your heart for, like, if you have an overdose or something? Like, don't they? There's such a thing as adrenaline shot, right? So why wouldn't they just do that? Why would they have to kill a baby for it? Maybe it's because there's a bunch of youthful, like, hormones or something in a baby that you can't recreate synthetically. I have no idea, but it's just a weird. You got me off. You got me off into the weeds, but it's weird shit. So, anyways, maybe that's a discussion for another channel with us. Maybe the different Mikey channel. Hey, Bruce, I used to repair appliances as well, then worked 21 years. All right. Bob knows mechanics, man. Hi, and any thoughts on Spectral gear? Spectral, another one, which is kind of like a mystery. I talked with the guys at Spectral. They don't want to sell any more stuff. They're like, we really can't make or sell anymore. We're already backed up. We already, and so this is typically what happens. A company gets a little bit older, a little bit more mature, and if they don't have a real succession plan and it like made enough of a life for the guys that own it, and they're like, oh shit, we'll just retire and let the thing crash. Like, we don't care, they may just not care about growing it. So many companies don't. So when I called them, they're like, no, we don't really want to grow our business. And I have to make sure the companies that I get with are willing to handle the sales that I bring, because I don't bring little sales. I sell as much in my network, which is just me, okay, and doing my promotion. I can sell as much as a dealer network does, okay? And I know this. I've been top global seller for Playback Designs 3 years in a row. I definitely sell more these Italian brands that I bring in. They're like, dude, you're selling as much more than our old distributor sold. And distributors typically have a bunch of dealers under them. So I'm selling more than a dealer network. So when I meet these new companies, I'm thinking of taking them on. I need to tell them, are you at a point where you are able to make gear? Like, I don't want to be in a situation where I make an order and they tell me I have to wait, months to get the shit. No, I'm not going to do that. It's too much of a pain in the ass, too much waiting around. So, and that's kind of where Spectral was at. So I spent a little time listening. I couldn't get it was in San Francisco, in Oakland, or Berkeley. And, I went there to listen to Spectral, but they didn't have them hooked up. We had to listen to something else, unless you can compare two things as well. It's hard to tell. So Spectral is supposed to be good. The people that have it really like it, but I've not been able to make a judgment call on Spectral at all. I would love to, but really not if I can't get it, I mean, not if they're not willing to grow at all and supply a new dealer, then it's then it's just out of interest. If somebody's got it set up, I'll check it out. But so I don't know. Hey Bruce, I used to work in appliances too, then worked for Whirlpool for 21 years. Sweet, man. Cool. I agree that new lightweight amplifiers sound really good these days. Big improvements over the last 6-7 years. I do though enjoy my Macintosh MC275 on high efficiency speakers. Yeah, I mean, when I say big amps, I'm talking about the heavy iron, like the shit that you need piano movers to move, not anything that you can carry on your own. Okay, that's not heavy iron. If you can carry it by yourself, it's not heavy iron. Um, Heavy iron is 150 pounds per amp, and that is not a sector of the market that is growing. Let's put it that way. Thank you for the compliment. Appreciate it. Hopefully can fly you again, man. Yeah, I would love it, dude. That was a lot of fun. What happened to my hair? Oh, you wanted me to save the clippings, man? We could have made you a rug. You having breakfast with Danny at the Southwest show? Yeah, man. After we wake up after sleeping together. Yo, Mikey, late, just finished the session, topped off with GFR Sin's a good man's brother. Glad caught you. What is that, man? GFR Sin's a good man's brother. You got me. I'm confused, man. I'm not. I'm too sleepy. Do I think loom cables from the same company is a way to connect a system? Yeah, typically. And then you just get into, man, I mean, you should just find a company that doesn't have a signature sound that it makes. Then if you have some type of cable brand that has a house sound where it sounds like, then you put them together and then you get the house sound on your rig. Really, you want to get things. My whole philosophy on audio building and system building is to have things be absolutely neutral, dead nuts, right down the center, neutral, not adding anything. Otherwise, you're mixing and matching things. And I used to serve with my cables. People were trying to tune their rig with my cables. They'd want this kind of put one gold end and one rhodium end. Two golds end is too soft and two rhodium ends is too much. And they would do this shit and I would do it with them. At one point I was with a group of audiophiles and they could custom build to their heart's delight. I would make it exactly how they wanted it. If they needed a little more, this of that, a little more of that, I knew how to change a cable to give it more detail or less detail, right? And so typically speaking, yeah, get one brand, go straight down the middle. Everything that I sell under the Verastar name is very transparent and just neutral. It's neutral. You don't want to have to tune it. Like, speaking of the word transparent, that cable company makes you match your speaker and the cable. They have a box in the middle of the cable that you put in certain parts depending on what speaker and match with what amp you have. Like, how ridiculous is that? Then if you change your gear, you have to change your cables. It's ridiculous. Dan checking in from Evanston. Good evening, tribe. Dan, when you picking up your amps, brother? I've already sold. I've got 2 pairs are gone, man. I've got your pair sitting here. And somebody's going to want them because as soon as I do the video on how good these things are, I just ordered 3 more pair. They're that good. For non-Americans, the USA is now on daylight savings time as of 2 a.m. on Sunday. We lost an hour of sleep last night. Okay. There it is. Mikey, you really should hear what a good pair of KEF 1072 104s could do nearly 30 years ago. Make you really question some of these high-end brands claiming awesome sound. I already question the brands. I don't I don't need anything else to help me question the brands. But I remember KEF. I had some KEF in my car back in the day. This was shit. 19 Damn, dude, this was long time ago. This was 90, let's see, 97, 90, 90, 90, 70, 89, 90, like 1986, 70, 89, 90, 91, 90 or 91. I had Kef in my car, and MB Court, but yeah, whatever. I'm sure the old things, but I don't like, I don't like vintage audio. It's cool to look at, but it's not my thing. But yeah, back in the day, man, I've got a receiver here that's like 30-watt Pioneer receiver that's like from 1978 or something like that, and the thing kicks complete ass. This sounds way better than the shit now. Do you have any opinion on Arundel towers? Jay Yagi thinks they're some of the best 10K towers he's ever heard. No, I don't have any view. Where are they? Where are they made? And Jay hasn't heard Fisher and Fisher. I've got $9,000 Fisher and Fishers right in my rig right now that are stupid. They're actually retarded. I'm more surprised by those than any of them. The big ones, they start to get a little bigger. You're like, you kind of, they kick ass, but you're like, yeah, you get what you pay for. But these, for how small they are, they're incredible. So I don't know. What is Arundel? Another MDF speaker with driver box, an MDF box with drivers in it. How much different can it be? And it really can't. They can't be much different. Anything that's an MDF box with an MDF baffle or aluminum baffle and an MDF box and drivers from SEAS or ScanSpeak are the usual suspects. They can't be that much different, man. They're they can be really good for 10K, but they're not going to be different than something that's been done already. They're not breakthroughs. A Fisher and Fisher is nobody's fucking done it. Okay. It's never been done that I've seen yet. So I prefer things that are like that. So look, YouTubers, especially YouTubers that have been around for a long time, they're fucking desperate for content. Okay. So they are desperate to find the new greatest thing I've ever heard. They're fucking tits up, fucking desperate for stuff to do. There's only so much gear. And how many years does it take you to do a review on every fucking thing in the market, right? There's nothing exciting. There's nothing new. It's all the same shit, just regurgitated. So they're desperate. So, and of course, you guys won't click unless they put best I've ever heard for 10K, giant killer. They use all these descriptive terms that are clickbait terms, and they're going to run out of shit to do, brother. They have to keep on doing it. And then you're going to get the same shit. And then they all regurgitate the same shit together. It's like one guy gets it, then the next guy gets it, then the next guy, like Kef LS50 or whatever. Everybody fucking gets it. Everybody talks about it. They know if they put Kef LS50 in the title that they're going to get the most clicks out of anything. I don't do that. I could get a Kef LS50 and everybody'd want to hear, what does Mikey think about the Kef LS50? But I couldn't be less interested in a speaker, period. But I know it would bring tons of clicks, and potentially a whole bunch of new subs, but I just don't play those games. So it doesn't surprise me that whatever Jay's got, thinks there's, really awesome and amazing and stuff. I will say that I do think that Jay has a good ear in many ways. He has ended up with, I think if he listened to Fisher and Fisher, they'd probably be his favorite speakers, because his ear seems to be like mine. He likes Nat Audio. He likes the AGD as some of his best amps. And so I have the feeling if he listened to Fisher and Fisher, they would be his favorite speakers. Because I think he has his hearing and mine are pretty similar. I'm one of the weirdos that think aluminum or metal woofers sound better. Oh, well, good for you, man. There's going to be plenty of them on the used market. Hey, Mikey, thoughts on Audio Solution speakers? Never even heard of them, Sonny. Mikey, what do you think of NOLA speakers? Great stuff, man. Alon was a great brand, and then they moved on to NOLA, and good stuff from what I remember. I haven't heard anything recently, but I always remember it being good. What does dirty food mean? It means bad for your body. It means greasy. It means just like, greasy shit, right? Dirty, not good fuel, not healthy, organic, clean food. It's dirty. It's got a lot of grease, a lot of cheese, a lot of animal shit in it, mayonnaise slathered all over it. Fucking, that's dirty food. Melted cheese with mayonnaise, chili, shit like that. It's all dirty food. It's gonna make you shit diarrhea. You're gonna have a greasy ass shit after it. That's how you know it's dirty. Monitor audio use ceramic, aluminum, magnesium. They've got all three for their mid-range and bass drivers. That's cool. Monitor is, another one, not my thing. That's like a kind of a, I don't know, it used to be a Best Buy brand. That's kind of how I think about Monitor. It's like Wharfdale or Monitor or Mission or those kind of like total mainstream brands where they make fucking 10,000 of those speakers at a time, or whatever. Love the Monitor audio. I still have my old Studio 6. It's cool. So back in the day, maybe they were different, but typically they get bought up and then they go corporate and then it turns into plasticky shit with plastic all over and whatever, which is not bad. I mean, it's good business. They sell a lot of them, but if you're a picky, collector for like, Swiss made things that are of higher caliber, then you don't want that kind of thing. You want something more exclusive, something handmade, not machine made. I was asking because you said in a video, balanced offered noise rejection. It does. All of the inputs do sound great. AA DAC is the best for the money. Okay, Kurt, here's another description. The balanced digital is completely different than balanced analog. Okay, so we're talking about two different things. However, they do the same thing. Digital has a little bit more noise rejection, like on the inputs. I think I don't know. You are right. It's. I wasn't talking. I was talking about analog signals in my video, but it still carries the same weight. I don't know if it does it the same way. Like I don't know if there's a transformer. I doubt digital goes through an analog like a transformer before it comes. I don't know how digital receiving end works, if it's the same or not. But there typically the noise comes on is more prevalent in the line level of the analog cables. So it's as far as I know, it's more important thing in analog cables. It's more likely to be noisy. I'm one of the weirdos that likes aluminum metal woofers. Not definitive to me, but sounds more natural to me. Wow. No way. Paper, natural fiber sounds to me more natural. Synthetics never sound rarely sound natural to me. If you have paper that doesn't sound good, they're shitty speakers, because some of the best speakers in the world are paper. The Japanese, like Feastrex single driver, Urushi, using mulberry paper with Urushi lacquer, the paper and then leather surround, like natural, always sounds more organic. But it has to be done well. You get some shitty paper speakers, like freaking, some shit stuff. It's going to be different. It has to be made well, but typically natural materials sound more natural in my experience. He had CH Precision 10 series everywhere when I went in that room in the Philippines. Okay, so probably different guy. Sounds silly. My Von Schweikert is bigger than your Von Schweikert. Schwing, my Von Schweikert. Funny. Goldie's barbecue in Fort Worth, Mikey. Texas barbecue monthly top barbecue joint. Okay, cool. Definitely an old school place there. That's what I'm talking about. So, and then Goldie would be like some big black mama, that like serves up the food, and you go in and you see Goldie and you're like, "What's up, Goldie?" And she serves you up the best down home grubbing you ever had in your life. That's the kind of shit I like. So yeah, I'll try it, Bob. I'll remember Goldie's. Got to have a dry, crisp finish in a beer. I think so. Some people like it like Chouffé, or however the hell you say it, is Belgian. So that's right. Ale in its own category. Yeah, I'm a retired brewmaster. Okay, cool. So buddy. Great to cook with. Add Belgian beer to a stew with shanks or short ribs. Oh, now you're talking, buddy. And mini root vegetables. So good. Mini root vegetables. I own minivegetables.net. And you know that? I just need to sell it. I bought it a long time ago. I prefer a beer in a can over a bottle any day. Yeah, it has a little different. You can relate to the slime feel. Yeah, it's not huge, right? But it's there. I prefer the carbonated bite. Same thing. Same that you're picking up exactly what I'm laying down. This is just a little. It just slides right down your throat. You know, it's like, well, I feel like I could blow bubbles, but you know, with it like fish curry or some shit. Yeah, because they're sick. CNTS. Um, I don't know what we're talking about there. I lost that part. Hundreds of thousands of babies go missing. Oh, you were talking. Okay, you were talking about the people eating babies. Hundreds of thousands of babies go missing each year. They say gives a plausible reason. Right? I know that's what they're talking about. Like they go missing, and then they were also talking about people that actually have rings that breed babies. So somehow they pay women to get pregnant, have a baby, not in the hospital, and where there's no birth certificate. So then the baby can be killed and there's no human on the records, right? It was just funky, dude. I'm just like, why and what? And that's, I just hate to think about it. I actually don't want to. Old Speckled Hen is a pleasant ale. Is it? Yeah, I don't. I'm not an ale guy, but I would try, but I'm typically not, especially pale ale. Adrenochrome is used to add longevity to life, extracted from fetal 20-month-old. Yeah, so I looked at what the hell is adrenochrome? What makes it chrome? Is it the same thing as adrenaline, or is it something different? I remember hearing about that. Try Goldies. Okay, there you go. Okay, so Goldies it is, man. That's 2 for Goldies. Have ever made signal cables? Any plans to? I've got a patent on signal cable design. So yes, look up Verastar, Verastarr. That is my company, Verastar Cables, and you'll see I've won awards. From early post GFR Grand Funk. Okay, got it. Grand Funk Railroad, cool. Sins a Good Man's Brother is a wicked jam. Not one of their most popular. Okay. Sins a Good Man's Brother. I love Grand Funk, man. It's cool stuff. What do you think of the JCat USB card? XE Evo Virtues Matrix. JCat was always better to me. JCat sounded better. I've used both, and I liked JCat better. Plus, JCat's made in wherever, Denmark or Netherlands, and Matrix is made in China. So support Netherlands, not China. But I think the JCat sounded better to me. Am I concerned about losing in-home setup gigs for folks who opt to use ChatBT? No, dude, that's fucking retarded in my opinion. Well, let's ask the group, you know. Well, look, and it's not I'm not concerned about losing in-home setup gigs, okay? Because I sell to wealthy people, okay? So I sell to people that don't want to mess with doing shit themselves, okay? Like I'll give myself as an example. There was a point when I wouldn't go take my car to get oil changes because I'm like, it's just take the freaking oil filter out, take the plug out, drain the shit, put some quartz in, and I would do it myself. I would do it on all my motors, especially the motorcycles. Let's make it even easier. Used to do it on the cars, but changing plugs, all that shit. I used to adjust the valves on my Ducati, you know, because it wasn't that hard. I could access the valve covers, I could pull them off, I could put a feeler gauge, I could set the tappet, I could do all that shit, right? At some point, when I started earning enough money to not do it myself, there's no way I want to break my knuckles getting in there. There's no way. It's, you know, what's a couple $100? It's nothing. I'll take $1,000, you know, it's nothing to me. And so, um, um, Chat GPT, in its infancy can help DIYers research. Okay, so that's all it can do. So Chat GPT isn't going to come out and set up your subwoofers, right? It's not going to do that. All Chat GPT is going to do is going to scrape the internet and it's going to pull shit from websites and then it's going to aggregate it for you. So it's the same exact information you could get. It's just going to save you time because it's going to save you the time aggregating that same information. So all it does is it goes out, it scrapes shit, and it pukes it onto your lap. And then you go ahead and you do all the work. You get up and you move it and you listen and you move it and you listen and you move it and you listen and you move it and you listen, you move it and you listen, you move it and you listen. It's not going to make it any easier. It's just going to tell you what to do for yourself. So what it's like saying is, do you think you're going to stop going out to restaurants? Are chefs going to lose their job because Chat GPT is going to tell people how to cook Michelin food? No, it's not, because people aren't going to cook Michelin food. They're not going to go through the whole thing, find the, whatever, organic kohlrabi and blanch it and then, slice it julienne and then put it into a cream sauce made with coddled cream that came from a Cheshire goat or whatever that shit, right? So, while some people, it will help what it helps is it helps aggregate internet research. That's what Chat GPT does. Chat GPT isn't going to help you set up your rig. Okay. It doesn't know how to set up shit. It knows how to, when you give it commands, it knows how to find research based on your commands and scrape it from a bunch of websites and put it into and compile it for you. That's what it's going to do. So it's a research assistant is all it is. So you can find all that stuff. It's not going to give you any new information. It's not going to give you its own personal insights on how to set up a room. It's just going to it's going to regurgitate shit that's already on the internet. So no, I'm not concerned. And even if somebody came on, it's the same as Dan is saying, am I concerned about another YouTube channel telling people how to do setups? In fact, a YouTube channel with a guy that's an acoustician is far more valuable in doing subwoofer setup than ChatGPT is. He's just going to be able to put it across better because he's actually done it, where ChatGPT has never done it, right? So, so you'd be asking me like, am I afraid that another YouTube channel telling people how to set up equipment is going to take away? No, it's not. Okay, because reading it and then trying to implement it are two different things. Okay. It's like reading, we'll go back to the car thing, reading a valve adjustment, how to do a valve adjustment, and ChatGPT telling me how to do a valve adjustment. I could get a step-by-step exactly how to do a valve adjustment on my Volvo. Am I going to go out there and, get into the car and pull the heads off or pull the valve covers off and start messing with no, I'm not going to do it. So for DIYers, okay, for people that are DIYers that are, and typically DIYers have a time on their hands to be able to do it. And they have maybe a lack of financial resources to hire somebody else. So it's exactly my opposite. My client base is on the other end of the spectrum. My client base, their time is more valuable than to futz around with audio shit. And they've got enough money. They've retired or they're making money. They've already made millions and they're in their 30s. And they want a high level of service. I provide a high level of service. So ChatGPT will never replace what I do. It just won't. So I'm not afraid of it at all. It's not even a hint of a concern, much less a fear, So yeah, ChatGPT can't set shit up. All it can do is comb the internet and pull research back it's just going to regurgitate stuff. So you have to understand what ChatGPT does. I'm the next bachelor on ABC. There you go, buddy. Hey, Mikey plus Tribe, like the stream. Right on, Jasper. Welcome. Like the stream. You know it. What do I think about Belcanto? I like John Stronzer. I've known John for a long time too. He's from Minneapolis. That's where I grew up. Cool stuff. I think it's really cool. I like some of his older stuff. I haven't seen it in a long time. I have no idea. I didn't like the Class D stuff that they did. I do like the AB stuff that they did back in the day. I think Belcanto you can find on the used market, the older stuff, and it's good and it's cheap, and it's a great thing. But would I go out and buy a brand new Belcanto system? Not myself. Is it something I want to sell? I don't know. I'd have to look at and see what he's doing these days with his stuff and see how it sounds. But Belcanto was cool because it was a unique look. That's what I liked about Belcanto always, was that it stood out as a very unique, modern kind of a design. Nothing else looked like it, and it stood out, and it was just cool. When it went to Class D, it lost its panache for me, and I have not seen them at the shows. I just don't even see them, so I don't know what they're doing these days. So, but a good brand, good people behind the brand, you know. As far as if John Stronzer still owns it, that baby thing is so effed up. Yeah, totally, man. I know it's weird. I've done a deep dive with AI and it felt amazing at first and then realized it gave some very shoddy advice. Yeah, AI lies, right? You know that, right, Derek? You have to bust it. You bust it lying. It will make shit up and you have to question it in a different angle and a different angle to catch it and then to get it to do what you want it to do. But it does not tell the truth all the time. And there are when you start with an AI engine, it has a disclaimer and it calls it they call it hallucinations or what does it say? Hallucinations or um illusory responses. Like basically they tell you it's going to make shit up and you can't count on its responses. So yeah, AI is definitely not there yet. That the stuff that we get, you know to me, AI will be really cool when I can just talk to the shit and it can answer me, right? If I have to enter in, and type shit in or speak it and then tap to enter on my phone and all that shit, I mean, it's silly. It's a silly thing for me. I mean, it's not really usable. If I can be like, Hal, if it's like Hal 2000, now we're talking. If I can sit there and I can ask, I can just talk to it. I can get in my car and I can just say, and I can, it's very limited. I've tried using it, and the Google Android Auto and all that shit, very very limited. It's not up to where I'd like to see it. But once it's full tilt, you bet I'll use it, man. I'll have my own personal thing, and that thing will get to know me, and it'll be my best buddy. I'll be able to rely on it. That's what I hope. I think they'll go that way. But right now it's still, you can still catch it lying. You can still see what it's doing. Try and ask it about some political shit, and you'll see how the company that runs it is politically biased, because it will give you some answers about Biden or something left, but then you ask it about like Trump or whatever, and it won't even respond. It's funny. You can find its limits. You can find its biases. You can tell it's programmed by humans, and sometimes. So it's funny to it's interesting to get it to create sometimes images, which has been useful sometimes for marketing. You can use cool images or just get concepts that you have. You can put it into a visual representation of a concept, which is kind of cool. Nothing will replace the human ear to know it's set up right. Yeah, because there's emotion, and you can make it perfectly from a robot specification. A robot could come in the room and set it up perfectly, and then you'd sit down and it would probably sound, dry and uninvolving and just perfect, but not involving. So yeah, I'm not worried on it. You have a patent on single cables. Pretty easy to convince the patent office of anything. Yeah, exactly. But my patent is a lot more complex than yours. I hate to say it that way, but my shit isn't twisted pair, doubled up twisted pair. My shit is a complete connector. You saw it. It's a complete connector concept that is never been done before, and it actually allows for industry first. It would be once that's capitalized, and I do that, that'll be the industry first for silver from the PC board to the driver in the speaker, with no other metal in between. That's never been done, so that will be cool. Actually, Scott Adams, cartoonist behind it, used ChatGPT, set up his specific subwoofer with a specific receiver in a step-by-step manner. We're happy for him. I'll take ChatGPT over my boss anytime, any day, right? No doubt. Mikey, been to the Sphere? I have not been to the Sphere. Sup, Mikey and Tribe. Any thoughts on Alnick amplifiers? They look interesting. I guess they're okay. You know, I guess they're okay. They're decent. I don't think they're bad. I'm indifferent on them. You know, I'm just indifferent on them. Totally made shit up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It will make some shit up. We're talking about ChatGPT. It'll just make some shit up. And what's the other one that does it even more is starts with the P. I'm drawing a blank on it. There's some other ones that are even worse. Told me to get an integrated tube amp with my NAD M10 DAC streamer amp. I asked so many times and it assured me, and then it said it was a bad move. You can talk to it on your app, brother. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can talk to it, but then I have to press, after I'm done talking, I have to press to stop the thing, and then to get it to, then it'll change it into text, and then I have to press an arrow to input that data. You know, that's 2 steps that I shouldn't need to do. Talking to it was the game changer for me. Okay, well, call me, man, tomorrow. Call me tomorrow, dude, and tell me how to do it, where I can just talk to it and I don't have to enter anything, and I don't have to press send to input that data. You know, another couple of years in AI and we won't believe where it's gone, which is a bit scary. Yep, but we can't stop it. So it's like, you know, if you can't beat it, join it, because if you don't join it, you're going to be left in the freaking dust. You know, HAL 9000 is on the way, getting everybody acclimated first. Tesla isn't made to make money by making cars. They have about 60 years of technology. I'm sure they do, man. Yeah, I am sure that they do. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna go. Hour and 32 minutes, man. I gotta go. I got to go. So I will see you all on what day is today? It's Sunday, isn't it? Yeah, so I guess I'll see you all Wednesday. Man, we're getting closer, and I'll see you guys down in Tejas. So will Slate speakers show up in LA in the Los Angeles shows? Maybe. I may Alberto from AGD is going to be now showing at this show because he made plans with Rosso Fiorentino, but I personally have heard those speakers, and that's another Me Too speaker. They're pretty and they're different and whatever, but they're not anything special to me. And I think he'll hear that at this next show, and then he'll want Fisher and Fisher back. I'm guessing. Maybe he doesn't. But either way, they may show up in the LA show. The funny part is, man, very few people need to hear him. They hear him on my channel and they buy him without ever listening to him. So they're going to continue to sell whether they're at shows or not. I don't need to bring them to shows, and they're heavy and they cost a lot to ship. By the way, there's pricing on the web now on my website. All include shipping. So I bumped everything up like $750 to cover shipping, just to make it easier, just to have a flat shipping rate for anywhere in the United States and the continental USA. So yeah. So anyways, yeah, call me tomorrow, man, if you can, Derek, and let me know, buddy, because I'd like to figure it out. No iron in the signal path. Danish companies are leading the way in speaker drivers, so why not in cables? I don't know. Good question. Good night, Dan. Good night, Jasper, and I will see you guys around next time. Hey, Charles, good night, buddy. See you guys next time. See you.